Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka Chaudhary. Today in the Analytics in 15, we'll be discussing about open source table formats with AWS Glue and Amazon EMR. So let's start our journey for today. So let's go over our agenda. First, we'll be discussing about AWS Glue, a little bit about Amazon EMR, and then we'll be touch basing on the open source table format, which is our topic for today. And there will be a small demo on all those. Let's start with our introduction to our basic ETL AWS services, which is AWS Glue. It's built for integration purposes. The most important feature for AWS Glue is it offers ETL operations, extract, transform, and load. So you can use that for marketplace connectors. You can use custom connectors to connect with your sources and do some transformation, complex transformation. So you don't have to manage any servers. It's all in one data integration services, since it is able to connect like 80 plus sources. So that's awesome. I mean, this service can help you in which can be cost effective and serverless and scalable. Now it offers auto scaling also. Let's go to our next topic, which is Amazon EMR. Amazon EMR is also a very old Amazon ETL services, which can run Spark, Hive, Presto, HBase, Flink. You don't have to maintain any servers over there. It's also offers serverless offering, and it can maintain latest versions of your applications. So basically, if you got a new versions of Hive, Presto, HBase, or Flink, or any Hudi Iceberg, it will take care of your latest version in next 60 days. It provides you great performance at low cost. You can even use like Graviton servers on top of that, easy to service plans, easy to spot instances, and reduce your billing to 50 to 80%. It also offers like a EMRFS, which is very important feature here. Like you can use S3 as your file system, and another way is like you can use multiple deployments option also, which is like EKS, which is a Kubernetes cluster for Amazon EMR, ECS, which is a container system for Amazon EMR. So Amazon EMR is very powerful tool to maintain all those important applications. Let's go to our next important topic, which is open source table formats. Here we'll be covering like three most important and most popular table formats, which is Apache Iceberg, Delta Lake, and Apache Hudi. So these three are natively supported by AWS Glue. It can simplify your incremental data processing in data lake. It can help you in creating transactional data lake very easily. It provides you built-in support to read and write, insert, update, merge operation. So right now, latest framework version is available in Glue v4.0. So next is like even EMR also supports all those frameworks. So you don't have to maintain any Apache Hudi jar files, Iceberg jar files. So it's all inbuilt. You don't just need to set up some configuration and you can use it right away. So this slide will cover the comparison slide. Basically, it will provide you the insight when to use which format. So first of all, if you're looking for an open source format which can build streaming data lake with incremental data pipelines, so that Apache Hudi is the best option out of there, because it provides you very good compatibility with the streaming data. So that's Apache Hudi. And if you're looking for open source table for huge analytics data sets and looking for Trinos SQL or Spark SQL support, you should go with Apache Iceberg, which is the right format to use at a time. And Delta Lake is always being used for any lakehouse architecture, provides you asset transaction. So all three of them provides you the basic transactional data lake features. It's Apache Hudi has a very improved schema evolution support. For Apache Iceberg, if you want to maintain optimistic concurrency with AWS Glue catalog, then you can use Apache Iceberg. And also disaster recovery is supported in S3 as well. And in Delta Lake, optimistic control to handle concurrency, since the majority of data lake operation append data to time ordered partition and want conflict. So if you're looking for something like a Delta Lake, it has a bright feature for data bricks also. It all, but out of the blue, like all three provides you the way to do asset transactions on the data lake. So let's start our demo really quick. So today we're gonna cover Amazon EMR with Apache Hudi, open source table format. And then we will be showcasing AWS Glue with our Iceberg table format and Delta Lake table format. So I'll provide you some like a guideline how you can use that. So let's go over really quick. So for the sake of this session, I have already created EMR cluster, which is demo cluster. And I already created one notebook also for demo, and it is being tagged with that cluster. So let's go to really quick, go to the our notebook. Okay. This is the notebook where we're going to showcase how you can use Apache Hudi framework to create Apache Hudi format for the open source table. So let's go with that. So the first step we need to do is just to set up our configurations. So here for the configuration, we are including bundle of jar for Apache Hudi. If you see, we are calling Hudi Spark bundle.jar and setting up some of the very common variables for Spark. So let's run this really quick. Okay, this ran. So in the next section, we are creating one table name, which Hudi trip table. And I have defined some of the target bucket name, primary key, sort key, a very basic information. So let's run this really quick as well. So it will start the Spark session with our Apache Hudi configuration so that we can use that further. So it's already started my Spark session. So let's go to the next code where we are setting some of the Hudi related general constants, which is Hudi format, table name, what are the operations we are applying to we are creating some constants for that also, hive constants, partition constants. So all the general constants we are doing as part of this. So let's run this really quick as well. So this will be quicker because we are just setting up the constants over here. So here, let's create some data for our today's demo. So here we are using some trip data. So let's run this really quick. So it will create our data, and it ran faster because it was ran earlier as well. So let's see how the data is looking up. So you can see the progress is happening over here. Okay, so we can see that there are a couple of datas are available over here, and we already created a data frame, and this is the show command running on. And now it's a time that we'll be writing that data frame to our Hudi format. So, and with the predefined operations, which is append mostly. So we'll be using mod as override and just create the table out of it. Table has been created now, and now we'll be running like how many records we have loaded so far. So it looks like we have loaded almost 2 million records. That's why it took a little more longer. So that's all from the Hudi side, and you can track this table in our Amazon Athena as well, since this table exists. So you can see that table has been created with Hudi trips table. And if you run any query on top of that, you will see the data in Athena. So that's the same table we are seeing over here. So that's all about Apache Hudi. So it was very easy to set up. We just need to set up configurations and set up some constants and run it. So let's go to our next demo, which is Apache Iceberg. For Apache Iceberg, I have already created two notebooks, actually, Delta Demo and Demo Iceberg. So Demo Iceberg will be using for Iceberg tables, and Delta Demo will be used for Delta Demo. So let's go to our Iceberg notebook. So here is the Iceberg notebook we have. So since let's for this one, you just need to create a connections. So basically we are using here notebook. That's why we need to create a connector for this one. But if you are ready to create a job, Glue directly provides you that option where you can choose one parameter over here while creating a new job, which is data lake formats, and you can put the value as Iceberg, Hudi, or Delta. So that is the new functionality happen in 2022 reinvent. So you can use directly with that. But if you are using notebooks, you have to create a connections. Let's go to connections really quick. Connectors. There is a connections. Yeah, so it supports both go to AWS Marketplace and create custom connector. Here we have created custom connector for Delta and Marketplace connector for Apache Iceberg for our easy operation. So we are using that connectors for our Glue notebook. So let's go to our Jupyter notebook for Glue and run some Iceberg tables. So here I have created this Iceberg connections already, which I have seen in showcase in the last screen. So let's run this really quick, and it will start creating the session with Iceberg as a connection. Okay, it started the connections. And here in this operation, we are setting up some table name, what is my bucket prefix, and what is my database, and all those constants, just like we were doing in Hudi as well. Now we need to wait for our session to get ready for our next steps. And then we're going to set up some basic configuration which is needed. So with the Glue native support, you don't have to set up any connector with Glue job, but you need to set up this Spark conf in your Glue job at least. So basically there are two steps you need to create when you're using Glue job. One is to set up that data lake format as a parameter and this Spark conf file, Spark conf parameter. Okay, our session is created. Now we'll be setting up some basic configurations for Apache Iceberg, our Glue lock table and DynamoDB table and all. So let's do that. We don't have to use any cleanup. Okay, so here we are creating a data frame with the data product, with the product data, and it will create a data frame, and that will be used for our Iceberg tables. Okay, so here I'm creating a temporary view out of that DF product and creating a database. These are the basic steps we are doing. In the next step, we'll be using Iceberg as a table format. So here is the step we'll be creating actual open source table format for Iceberg. So let's run this step. It will create a Iceberg table for us. So here we could showcase that you can create Iceberg table through the Glue notebook. Similarly, the same fashion you can use OSS Delta Lake as well for this operation. We are using the same data and table, and I have created the same Delta Lake table as well over here, which works fine over here. I'm running the query for that also. So that's how you can integrate, you can create open source formats. And here, if you see in Athena, you will be seeing like there are two more database has been created, one for Iceberg and one for Delta. And so let's go and run the query over here really quick. So that's all for the demo today. And let's go to the slides back again. And these are some additional resources which you can refer for your learning today. And I hope you learned something new. Thank you so much.